Okay, so there's a lot of changes going on in the NDIS. Let's break it down a little bit further. So, taking a deep breath is really important. I'm seeing a lot of misinformation at the moment going around, and it is upsetting a lot of people, the participants, their family members, and then maybe providers are feeling it as well. People are questioning, do I have a job after the 1st of October because I've heard that I won't be able to keep providing my services? Well, the answer to that is it depends on what your services are. There's a couple of key things to note. It's only July 2026. Now, this new financial year has just started, but the one thing to think about is, do I have to put my prices up or not? Now, at the moment, the tiered pricing system that has been recommended to possibly start from the 1st of January with the social and community providers has not been announced that it's coming in. It is a recommendation. It doesn't mean that you don't plan for it. It doesn't mean that you don't have it on your radar. You certainly do. You have it on your radar as a proposed changes. And if it comes in, what does it mean for your business? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, unless you are a SIL or platform provider, then no, you don't have to do mandatory registration right now. However, if you choose to become registered as a provider, that's your business choice. That's yours to think about. You make that decision at this moment in time. Now, yes, there has been the discussion as part of the changes with the legislation of potential funding cuts for those that work in social and community, for the participants in social and community, and then the roll-on impact that would have as your business as a provider providing social and community. But at this stage, yes, there has been funding cuts for some people, but the legislation is still under debate, July 2026, which is at the moment, and it's not set to progress much further until August. So let's wait and see what that legislation changes state. But you can think about that impact on your business and what it may have. Pricing cuts and other mandatory registrations. So there is the discussion around the tiered pricing arrangement, which could be, or schedule of prices, whatever name they're going to give it, they keep changing it. So there is discussion that social and community providers that are unregistered, so not NDIS registered, that includes sole traders, may have to drop their price by 10%. The key word in that is may. It's proposed, and that's proposed to take place from the 1st of January next year, 2027. Once again, no announcements. The other thing is the proposal of mandatory registration for all providers that do personal care. When I say providers, sole traders, you're part of this. Now, we still don't know whether that will happen yet. The legislation has to go through, has to be stamped and approved and done all of those things in Parliament. But what I would suggest is thinking about if it goes through, what does that mean for me and my business? Am I prepared to become registered? Am I prepared to follow the registration pathway as it is right now, which is with audits? They're quite expensive for a lot of people. You know, they can start from $1,500 upwards. Having your documentation shouldn't be a problem because obviously as a business, yes, sole traders, you're included, you would already have your documents, policies and procedures in place. So should they mandate registration? Should you be required to follow the current pathway because they keep that pathway in and they don't bring in a different pathway? Then really you're looking at your audit costs and having your paperwork in place and completing the application. So when I see that people say, I can't become registered because it's going to cost me $35,000 or more, then I need to ask them, how big is your business if you've been quoted an audit of $35,000? And often when I ask them how big their business is, it's go, oh no, I've got to get the documents, I've got to get the policies, then I've got to have a consultant. Well, actually, no. technically you don't need to do all of that. Technically, you've already got your policies and procedures because you're operating as a business. So that's that cost that's gone, and it shouldn't be a huge amount of money. A consultant, that's optional. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Have a think about it. Business decision. The audit, yes, you have to go through the audit at this moment in time. So whilst there's a lot of proposed changes, and whilst some of you may be saying they'll never happen, they're never going to do it, maybe you're right, maybe you're not, I don't know. The thing is to prepare your business. Think about it as if it did happen, and think about it and plan now in case. Most things you should be able to move between. So if they say this is now mandatory registration, they're going to give you a notice period. They're going to say you've got until this date to do this. But as a business owner, one of the biggest things you would already have in place is your documents, policies and procedures as part of best practice and helping you to meet the NDIS Code of Conduct. If you don't, please visit my website. The links are in the bio. Please visit there. The bundles are templated so that you are guided through how to make changes to make them yours, and they're a reasonable price. Other than that, I do have a provider platinum membership, and we have all the NDIS updates in there. We have resource after resource after resource, including registration process, writing your own policies and procedures, understanding the different aspects of business and setting it up for the NDIS. So you can visit that as well. All the choices are up to you. But most of all, hear the information, do your own research, and think about how, if things did happen, how would they impact your business? What might you do? What might you not do? What does your budget tell you? And most of all, always get professional input and support from an accountant, a lawyer, whomever it may be, but get the right support from the right people. This is crucial for your business. If I can help, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to support you in whichever direction is going to help you.